Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to FAF Cast. Well, admittedly it was quite a long time from the last one, but not only finally do we have a really good replay to go and watch, but also I feel like actually recording something, so well, I do hope that you will all enjoy this game. Anyway, for the map of the choice for our players, it is gonna be Adaptive Point of Reach. One of the more of classic maps when it comes to playing on big 20x20, especially if you wanna go and enjoy some good navy action that is not settings clutch. After all, too much settings is bad for your game life, right? But anyway, we can see that the players in this game are rather actually all quite high rated, so as Guy would call it, they're all pro players, as you can see that there is no one below the 1700 rating point, with the lowest rated player being Natron, who is still a really good guy if you wanna have a good team game. But anyway, 20x20 map, 5 players per team, lot of islands, lot of sea, so we will actually go into some good navy action on this map. But let's go and take a look who do we have in each team. So, for the team, actually wait, it's actually 6 versus 6, so I'm already derping around a little bit, but yeah, anyway, on the top team, in the right top corner, we have Mr. Resistance going Seraphim in orange. Then, to his left, on the echo spot, we're gonna go and see Mr. Stazik playing white Cybran. Next to him is gonna be Mr. Yudi, also on the echo spot, rocking manly pink Seraphim ACU. You really like this guy, right? Then, to his left on the navy spot, we're gonna have Mr. Greenplex rocking standard blue UEF. Then, Mr. F. Odin going Aeon in dark yellow. I really hate this color, it's ugly and it reminds me of Crispy. And then, last but not least, we're gonna have Mr. Natron going Cybran in navy grey, who's also have most likely the worst spot in the whole game, but well, let's hope he's gonna go and live long enough to actually go and have some fun in this game. But now for the other team, on the left flank, we're gonna have Mr. Alec, also now known as Shopasniger. Okay, I shouldn't be saying this word. Alec, what are you doing? Please. Don't do me like this. Anyway, we can see that he's also going for a really aggressive ACU move, as he's gonna go and try to grab this island here. And maybe, just maybe, he will even go and make a walk to the other island belonging to Mr. F. Odin. But now on the echo spot, we have Mr. Blast Shield running grey UEF ACU, already pumping out these interceptors to go and try to catch off enemy off guard, and he's gonna go and use the T1 bomber to go and try to go and snipe some of the enemy engineers. The first bombs are dropped. The engineers are gonna go and try to move out of the way, but it seems it's not gonna happen. First one goes down. The interceptors are gonna go and try to go and kill off the T1 bomber. And it seems like there was not enough T1 intis coming up from Mr. Blast Shield, and as such the Cyclones are gonna go and make a short work of it. The bomber goes down and killed only single T1 engineer, not the best one. But still, for the rest of the team, we have Mr. Willy, also known as the Farm Sletje, on the echo spot, playing red Seraphim ACU. His main enemy is gonna be Mr. Yudi on the other side. Now, the another one in a lime color is gonna be, it's not lime, it's cyan. It's gonna be Mr. Sky rocking UEF ACU, and you can see that he's already pumping out a lot of navy. Now on the war spot on the map we have Mr. Herzer99, a really good guy, playing dark green Aeon, trying to go and get up T1 torpedo launcher so he can actually go and save some of his T1 engineers from the nasty Cybran frigate coming out from Mr. Natron. A good move, if you ask me. He's gonna go and kill off a few T1 engineers, and also it seems like he may go and kill off this little T1 frigate that won't get finished. And now last player for the South team is gonna be Mr. Battlefront rocking Cybran. We can see him go up against Mr. Resistance on the other side. It seems like he already climbed his island, so it's looking pretty good for him. But strangely enough, Mr. Resistance is not gonna go and contest this point here, this little max, compared to Mr. Oleg, who moved his ACU deep down to enemy territory. Now let's go and take a look what else is happening on the map, because it's a big map, lots of players. Though it seems like for now it's just gonna be a low point in the game, as players are just gonna go and start amassing some T2 maxes, and then they will go and start pumping out some of the T1 Navy to go and crush the enemies. We can actually, funnily enough, we can see Mr. Farmslet here going for a T1 Navy production from the get-go. So it seems like the South team is gonna go and try to crush the Mr. Natron, who have nowhere close to enough Navy production, as it seems. But funnily enough, the top team is also gonna go and push in hard. We can already see their T1 frigates getting rid of 2 T1 maxes belonging to Oleg. And there is even more frigates coming from Natron, but this time to go and harass Mr. Blast Shield. It seems this game is not gonna be as chill as he would want. But the units coming out from Mr. Harzer and Farmslet here are gonna go and cut off the reinforcement for Mr. Natron, and as such, it seems like he will have to go and retreat with this frigate to try and go to save his own Navy production in his main base. As we can see that Mr. Farmslet is gonna keep on pushing with his T1 frigates. He's gonna go and get rid of T1 max. Now gonna go and kill this Trident class frigate. And after that, he will go for the build power. You can already see that there is more and more units pouring in. And poor Mr. Natron have nowhere to close enough build power to actually go and deal with it. You can see that he only have 3 frigates, compared to 6, 7, 8 coming out for his enemies. You can already see that Natron is being quite annoyed that he's playing 1v3 as Farmslet, Herzer and even Sky are ganging up on him. His single T1 Navy factory is not gonna be enough to go and deal with it. Also, F. Odin saying GG, but oh, that's why! Oleg is actually a madman. He's gonna go and move his ACU to go and crash the build power belonging to Mr. Odin, but oh boy, this is actually quite risky. A single submarine would be enough to go and get rid of this ACU. And I don't think that you wanna go and walk... He's gonna reclaim the T1 Navy factory, but in the meantime, the other team is crashing hard when it comes to the position belonging to Mr. Nathan. He's gonna go and try to get the T1 Sup and some T1 torpedo launchers online, but it seems like the amount of T1 frigates coming from the other team is gonna be enough to go and make a short work out of this. It's just not gonna happen. You better go and start running away, Mr. Natron, because you have been overrun. But now, let's go and take a look at other players. We can see Mr. Yudi trying to go and push for a T2 Navy HQ. Actually, he's been already finished, so he's gonna go and start popping out the T2 Destros. But Mr. Farmslet, seeing it, is gonna go and say, nope, it's not happening. I'm here to go and crush your little dreams. Also, Mr. Stazik is still making no units at all. He just make a few frigates, 1 Tor bomber, and now he's going for a T3 suit on his ACU. Quite interesting choice, but so far let's go and see if Yudi can get the destroyer out of the factory. But it seems like it's not gonna be finished. There is just way too many frigates coming out from the south team. As you can see, it's nearly done. Nearly, but I don't think it will ever finish. No, Yudi is gonna move his ACU back. Maybe he will try to go and reclaim some of the frigates. Nope, I don't think so. It's not gonna happen. The T2 HQ is gonna go and fall down without even finishing a single T2 unit. Mr. Natron is also looking quite bad. His Navy factories are basically a wreckage. His T2 Maxes are also dying. You can see that even his pigeons are under fire. And now that Yudi and Natron are down, It is time to go and get rid of Mr. Greenplex. You can see the ion frigates coming in, being quite annoying. There's a few T1 torpedo launchers in here, but I don't think they're gonna go and be of much use to the top team, as a bunch of frigates are gonna go and make a short work of it. And oh boy, what a sad day, seeing T2 Maxes die like that to T1 frigates. UD is also gonna go and fall back. When we look at the amount of air, it is actually looking quite good for the top team, but so what of it? If you don't have any kind of navy control, and the moment enemy finally gets to T2 HQ stage and it starts pumping out cruisers, you're gonna be in a world of hurt. Yeah, the navy production for Mr. Greenplex is also gonna go down. Another T2 Max falling down, and Wait. I was gonna go and check out what is Mr. Stasik gonna do with his T3 ACU, but the ACU is flying in here. Zoom. But where is it going? A torpedo upgrade being done by Mr. Natron. Well, it's gonna be more useful than trying to get back to the T1 Navy factory game. You can see on the minimap that the left side is already hard swarmed by the frigates belonging to the south team. They're losing economy and everything, and Mr. Stasik, here it comes. ACU dropped. Come on, okay, T1 PD being built on time. The build power of T3 ACU is quite high, as you can see. The buildings and PDs are being sprouted up in no time. The PDs are firing away, getting rid of the T1 build power belonging to Mr. Battlefront, as it seems like he have nothing to go and deal with it. He's gonna go and use some of his T1 engineers in there, but I don't think it's gonna go and help out, considering that the T3 ACU is gonna go and put up some of the T2 PDs here in no time. We can also see the SAM being put up, so the enemy cannot go and snipe him with the air units, but it seems like they have no air control at all for now. We can see some notas coming out from Mr. Farmsled, yeah, but with this SAM and a single T2 shield, he's gonna be basically invincible here. T2 Maxes are down, now the T1 factory is gonna fall down, and now it's time to get rid of the power belonging to Mr. Battlefront. He's gonna go and try to move his ACU somewhere closer, but I don't think that these T1 factories are gonna go and do anything at all. After all, it is a T3 ACU, but wait. I said that when the crises are gonna be out, the top team is gonna be in a world of hurt, but it seems like there is one already out. But I don't think it's gonna be capable of doing much against the T3 ACU right here. And on the minimap we could see that UD also had finished his T3 ACU and is also coming to the party. Hello, my little one. Where are you going? Okay, the interceptors from Farmstead are gonna go and try to intercept the T2 transport from UD. Farms already shutting on the chat to go and help out, because the moment they kill this ACU is the moment they most likely win the game. Shots being fired, actually. Nope, it's not gonna be enough. The ACU is actually dropped, reclaiming the T1 artillery, and now it's gonna go and put up some T1 PD. Oh boy, the build power on this thing is always quite nice to see. The interceptor fight is gonna be most likely won by the south team, but it won't mean much because the T1 RPDs from UD are gonna go and make a short work out of them. Meanwhile, on the other front, we can see that Mr. Stasik is finally getting some T2 point defense up and running. Janus coming out from Sky is gonna fall down in no time, as the T3 air launcher, anti-air launcher Myrmidon is gonna go and make a short work of it. We can also see some T2 destroyers coming out from Mr. Resistance, finally going to go and push in and deal some considerable damage to the enemy, but the units on the other side, the Notas already managed to go and snipe the T1 RPDs, but the T2 flag is up and running. There is also a few T1 factories starting to pump out some Lobos, as UD is gonna keep on pushing deeper and deeper on this island, as he have his eyes set on these T1 factories up in the distance. Holy hell, this is a lot of talking, but this is also okay. TML have been spotted by the South team, but they don't... Okay, they actually have a single TMD to protect the base belonging to Sky and Mr. Farmset, yeah? But even then, I think that he can go and snipe the T2 Maxis belonging to Mr. Harser. We can see that Harser is also producing T1 units, also a few Stingers gonna come by. But it seems it's not gonna be enough. Yes, I don't think they can go and protect this island for much longer. As you can see, T2PD swailing away, making sure that Mr. Sky have to go and fall back with his ACU. It might be a gun con, but it won't be enough against the T3 ACU, which can just make a bad load of T1 PDs in no time. You can even see some Chrysers coming out from Mr. Resistance to go and provide some cover fire. But there is a snipe happening, or at least I thought so, but it seems like Mr. Farmset is just first gonna go and try to get rid of the anti-air that belongs to UD, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. The route of air snipe is not gonna happen. Mr. Blast Shield will have to go and fall back with his ACU. As you can see, the Utchalalals, or however the T2 PDs are called, having to fall back. The T2 gunships coming out for Mr. Alec will also have to go and fall back. There is just not enough of them to go and make a snipe. The Notas coming in yet again, dropping bombs, getting rid of some of the T1 PDs, but it's not gonna be enough. As you can see, the anti-air capabilities of UD are just way too high. You can see that he's gonna keep on pushing. Now, after he finally gets through this little ditch here, he will be able to make some more T2 PDs. Because currently the ones in the back are just incapable of shooting at all at these little units here in this little place. You can see the Lobos trying to go and get rid of the T2 PDs, but the build power on the AC is just way too much. Vultos coming in yet again, but I don't think they're gonna go and ammo too much, as Rudy can just make a T1 air PD in no time. Meanwhile, on the other hand, it seems like Mr. Stasik finally managed to fully go and get rid of the base belonging to Mr. Battlefront. You can see that the T2 HQ is gonna go and fall down to the fire of the... Wait. Oh, okay, it's a destroyer shooting the PDs. I was wondering what was that. But yeah, all the build power, all the economy is just done for. There is nothing else to look here, as Mr. Battlefront will simply have to go and concede this island. Meanwhile, Yudi, on his quest to go and push into the deep base of Mr. Blast Shield, is looking quite good, as there is no way that air can do anything up against this amount of interceptors, so they will have to actually go and try to use the T1 land units, or maybe even Navy, to go and contest this island. But I don't think that it's gonna happen, and yet again Mr. Stasik is gonna go and use his T2 transport to go and move his ACU. Let's see if the enemy team is aware of it or not. It seems like they are not. Wait, the gunships are coming. The gunships are coming. The T2 transport have been spotted. The interceptors are on the way. I repeat, the interceptors are on the way. Also the T2 bombers and gunships. Okay, the gunships, are, for whatever reason, are falling back, even though they can actually go and shoot the T2 transports. But for whatever the reason, he's not aiming at it. I know that it's not spotted yet, but he should be trying to intercept it, as it seems like Mr. Stasik is gonna go and land safely yet again. The AC is gonna get dropped. The T2 transport is down, but not fast enough. Asking what the fuck the ASF coming from Sky High are not gonna do much, as Mr. Stasik is gonna go and get up some T1 RPDs up and running, and we will see if he can actually go and stay alive or not, because there is a lot of Vultos and also a few Notas flying over him. But it seems like, yep, too much build power. Too much build power on this T3 ACU. There's just not enough firepower coming from the other team. But let's go back and see what's happening in this position, as Yudi is still pushing in hard, getting closer and closer to the main base belonging to Blast Shield. But on the other hand, it seems like the Navy fights are actually going back in favor of the top team, which is quite unusual considering how much losses they suffered in the very beginning of the game. You can see that Natron, who was pushed out of the Navy, is actually back in the game. But let's see what is happening here. As it seems like, yep, Mr. Farmstead is now gonna go and fall back, as he recognizes that there is no way to go and deal with all these T1 PDs right here. And now Mr. Stazik is gonna go and get some T3 SAMs online, so the airtime is gonna be even more unlikely. Even that's interesting thing, as Mr. Resistant is getting some foothold here, as he will go and try to push in with the land force to go and get rid of these little factories and base belonging to Mr. Harzer. As UD is still pushing in hard, he just gives no fucks. Look at this bad boy. I said that pink is the manliest color of all, and you can see that UD is really manly here. Pushing in with his ACU, giving no fucks about the TML fire coming out from the cruisers. He actually managed to go and get rid of the main mexes belonging to Mr. Blastil, who's right now on 7 mass income, not counting in the income from Reclaim. The PDs are gonna go and start shooting at his ACU now, so he will even have to go and concede the Reclaim inside his own base. Not a good day to be him. But well, Mr. Battlefront is even in a worse case, as he only have his ACU and a single T1 air factory left. Oh, there is a Strat Bomber coming out from Mr. Sky High, who's also under a big siege coming out from Mr. Resistance, as you can see that he actually had to go and make some shield generators to cover his base. As Mr. Resistance is knocking on his door. Oh, the T3 Strat is actually gonna go and deal with the mexes belonging to Mr. Stazik, as it's only T2 mexes, so they're gonna be really easy to go and get rid of. But Yuri is still slowly getting closer to eradicating all the opposing forces on this little island. The Strat Bomber is dropping the bomb. Beautiful. 2 T2 Maxes are down, and now he's most likely gonna go for the T2 power and then for the rest of the T2 Maxes. As I don't think anything is gonna go and contest it, as it seems like the South team have no T3 air yet, or actually they have the HQ, but they don't have the power necessary to go and run it. So this one is gonna be dealing a lot of damage, uncontested. But even then, the amount of damage done by these little 2 guys dropping on the enemy bases, this 2 chats called Stasik and Mr. Yudi, just look at them go. I really don't think that the South team is gonna recover from this, even if they go and win a lot of the Echo War with this little Strat Bomber. I don't think it's gonna be enough, considering that this base belonging to Sky is gonna also fall down. All of the PDs, all of the TMDs and the shields are down. Right now there is nothing defending this base, as we can see that the fire from the T2 destroyers is dealing massive damage. Also some TML coming in flying from the cruisers. Yep, no more T3 air for you, Mr. Sky. The gunship's gonna go and get rid of the rest of the economy. But interceptors coming in from Mr. Resistance are actually gonna... maybe not, maybe they won't deal with it yet. Okay, here are the ASF coming in from Yuri. He finally finished his T3 Pigeon and is getting some air on his own, but... oh boy, oh... ooh, I missed it. I missed Yuri going out in style. Goodbye, little one. Kaboom, baby. But even then, the amount of damage done by this madman was just so high, like... look at this base. There is nothing left here, nothing at all. It's just enemy forces here. But yes, the T3 gunships are also gonna be read by the ASF coming out from what belonged to UD, but now belonging to F Odin. As we can see, interceptors making short work of them. And it seems like the hopes of winning the game for the South team are getting lower and lower. You can even see Resistance trying to go and push in really hard with the with T1 Labs, I guess. They're nice and fancy looking, so maybe that's why he's using them. But Farms is actually reclaiming the Navy on the right side of the map. As we can see that Resistance has been forced to go and fall back. Alec going out with some T2 Torps and some Vultos trying to go and get rid of the enemy forces. But even then, it looks really bad for the South team as Mr. Natron is getting his revenge. He was the one being kicked when he was lying down, but now he's the one who's gonna go and kick the enemy in their asses. Let's look at this T1 frigates coming from here. All he have to do now is just go and push in and get rid of this T1 factories and this T2 HQ, and GG, well played, Farm is out of the game. Although actually, funnily enough, it seems like Alec is managing to go and push back Mr. Odin. But let's consider the fact that Mr. Odin have a lot of stuff on his plate. As not only he have to go and fight on the Navy, he also have to go and command the Air Forces after Yuri had died. Although he finally managed to go and finish off what Yuri had started on this part of the map, as the Blast Shield ACU is down to 500 HP, and the next volley from the T2 PD should be enough to go and get rid of him. That is, if it have any information on it, but it seems like there is no radar here. So, kinda yikes, but Mr. Natron is finally getting his revenge. The Navy factories belonging to Mr. Wheelie are going down. One by one they fall down. As the beautiful Trident class frigates are doing their job, and no amount of T2 Tor bombers are gonna be enough to go and stop them. Mr. Resistance also coming back with some T2 artillery. Interesting choice, but I guess he can go and hit something with it. Ah, yes. Okay, never mind, he cannot hit anything useful. But the T3 Air is winning the game as the T2 Tor bombers are down. So the air control is firmly in hands of the top team. But even if they have the... Yep. The Tor bombers are no longer useful at all. You can see that the bottom team is looking really bad, and it's just banter time. While Mr. Stasik is just... Okay, here comes the Control K from Mr. Farms. Let you saying GG. Go next, Alec. Going boom as the second player. After that, Mr. Sky going up in flames, and last one standing is Mr. Herzer, trying to stand his ground. GG's being put down in the chat. And there goes the last one. GG, well played to all of the players. That was a good game. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed this little replay of this game. So I don't know. I see you next time, I guess. Bye bye.